Have you ever pushed someone away right when things started to feel close? You stop replying as quickly. You joke your way out of serious moments. You say you're busy when what you really feel is scared. Psychology says people who push everyone away are rarely cold or heartless. More often, they're people who were hurt the deepest when they tried to get close. On the outside, they look distant, independent, hard to read. On the inside, their nervous system is wired to treat closeness like danger. If that sounds familiar, this isn't about being broken. It's about how your brain learned to survive connection. 1. You learned early that closeness comes with a cost. Maybe as a kid you opened up and got mocked for it. Maybe you depended on someone and they disappeared exactly when you needed them most. Your brain stored a simple rule: when I get close, I get hurt. So now, when someone genuinely cares, your body doesn't relax. It tenses. It scans for what will go wrong. Pushing people away becomes preemptive self-defense. 2. Distance makes you feel in control. Being close means you can be left. Needing someone means they can disappoint you. So you stay one step back from everyone. You text less than you want to. You share less than you feel. You downplay what people mean to you, even in your own head. It looks like independence, but underneath, it's a strategy. If I never lean, no one can drop me. 3. Your nervous system is hypervigilant. People who push others away often read tiny shifts that most people overlook. A slower reply, a shorter message, a different tone. Your brain doesn't just notice it, it interprets it. Something's wrong. They're pulling back. I knew this wouldn't last. So you react before you even have proof. You go quiet. You detach. You act like you don't care to protect the part of you that cares too much. 4. You confuse safety with self-sufficiency. At some point, you survive something alone. A breakup, a crisis, a whole childhood. And you got through it without anyone really showing up. Your brain turned that into a belief. If I did it alone once, I can do it alone always. So when support appears, it doesn't feel like relief. It feels unnecessary. Or worse, dangerous. 5. You're terrified of being too much. Maybe you were told you were dramatic, needy, sensitive. Maybe every time you showed pain, someone rolled their eyes or changed the subject. So now, you edit yourself down. You swallow the rant. You swallow the tears. You swallow the "can you stay" before it reaches your throat. Pushing people away isn't about not caring. It's about not wanting to risk the shame of being too much ever again. 6. You use pushing away as a secret test. Part of you thinks if they really cared, they would fight to stay. So you cancel plans first. You become colder in text. You delay answering calls. On the surface, it looks like disinterest. Inside, it's a painful experiment. Will they notice? Will they check in? Will they come closer anyway? When they don't, it confirms your fear. When they do, it can feel suspicious. 7. Anger feels safer than need. Underneath distance, there's often grief. Grief for the times you weren't chosen. Grief for the support you never got. But anger is easier to hold than sadness. So you push people away with irritation, sarcasm, or coldness. It's easier to think, I don't even want you here, than to admit, it hurts that you're not really here. 8. You mistake numbness for strength. When you've been overwhelmed too many times, your brain develops a backup plan shutdown feeling. You don't cry much. You don't show panic. You just go blank. From the outside, it looks like calm or confidence. On the inside, It's a low-level freeze state. So when someone tries to get closer, they're not approaching a warm person. They're approaching a locked room. 9. Deep down, you don't actually want to be alone. That's the part most people never see. People who push everyone away usually crave connection the most. You want someone who feels safe, someone who doesn't turn your needs into a weapon. But your protective parts are faster than your hope. By the time you feel the desire to let someone in, the reflex to push them away has already fired. Here's the real story your brain is telling. I want to be close to people, but I'm more afraid of being hurt than I am of being alone. So what do you do with that? You don't fix it overnight. You don't force yourself to suddenly depend on everyone. You start with something much smaller and much harder. You start by noticing the moment you want to run. When someone texts back faster than you expected, when they say, "Tell me what's really going on," when they stay kind after you show a messy part of yourself. That's the second where your nervous system screams, "Too close." And instead of obeying it, you pause. You take one slow breath. You let the discomfort be there for a moment. And you experiment with a tiny bit of honesty. Not a full confession, not your entire life story. Just one extra true sentence past where you usually stop. I'm actually more tired than I admit. This did hurt me more than I said. I don't really want to deal with this alone. That one extra truth is where the pattern starts to change. Because every time someone responds with care instead of punishment, your nervous system learns a new association. Sometimes closeness can be safe. Pushing people away doesn't make you unlovable. It just means you had to build armor before you ever had a choice. The work now isn't to rip that armor off. It's to slowly stop confusing it with who you are. You're not the distance you create. You're the person underneath it, still hoping someone might stay close enough to see what you were protecting all along. If this feels uncomfortably accurate, that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means your story finally has words. And maybe, for once, you don't have to push that away.